Chapter 7. Lisa. I've got an idea. Lisa sent the message to Langston and waited for a response. A few minutes passed, and when she thought he might be busy, a text came through.
Call me and tell me about it.
She dialed him while biting her bottom lip, hoping he would respond in earnest. Placing the phone to her ear, Lisa glanced at her face in the bathroom mirror as it rang.
Good afternoon, Lisa. I was just thinking about you.
A shiver coursed down her spine as Langston's deep, velvety voice cruised through the line. She closed the bathroom door behind her, leaned against it, and took a deep breath. Were you? That's nice to hear, she whispered, trying to compose herself. I was just wondering if you're busy tonight. There was a brief pause on the other end of the line before Langston spoke.
I'm always busy, but that won't stop me from seeing you if you want to be seen.
A string of warmth fell down her skin, and excitement spun her, accelerating her pulse. Lisa hesitated for a moment before responding. I'm flattered.
So am I.
Why?
This is the second time you've reached out to me before I could reach out to you. It makes me think I have something you want.
A deep, throaty laugh full of allure and promise rolled from Lisa's lips. I mean, you're not wrong, Langston, she admitted, feeling her cheeks flush. But I also just enjoy your company.
Likewise, Lisa. Tell me about this idea of yours.
Lisa took a deep breath, bracing herself before unleashing her plan. I was thinking that we could have a little fun tonight. She began slowly, her voice dropping to a sultry whisper. In the spirit of being friends with benefits, what do you say we play a game?
What kind of game?
You take me somewhere you think I've never been, and I'll take you somewhere I think you've never been. It's a spontaneous idea I thought we could do to have some fun, as friends. Langston chuckled in amusement.
I must admit, Lisa, you never fail to surprise me.
He paused for a moment before continuing.
All right, I accept your challenge, but there's one condition.
Lisa felt her heart skip a beat. What condition?
We do it blindfolded.
Lisa was taken aback. Blindfolded? Why?
Trust me, it'll add a whole new level of excitement to the game. But you could be playing with fire, Lisa. Are you in?
Lisa felt a tingle of excitement to hear the challenge in his voice. I'm not afraid of a little heat, she replied, matching his tone, even though she was unsure of what to expect. But her curiosity got the best of her. I'm in, she said, feeling a tingle of anticipation run down her spine.
Great. I'll pick you up at 8 p.m. sharp.
See you soon. Lisa hung up the phone, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. She had no idea where Langston would take her, but she knew she was in for a wild ride. Lisa opened the door when the JXL Nori pulled to a stop in front of her home. The smooth cruiser reminded her of the Lexus RX SUV, except for its rear-wheel drive capability and sleek, sporty finish that made it stand out. The tinted windows made it impossible to see who was inside, but she had no doubt that it was Langston behind the wheel. She took a deep breath, ready to add the mystery Langston had proposed to her that night. Blindfolded, she would be at his mercy, at the whims of his adventure. Lisa was excited to see what Langston had in store for her, and she giggled at the thought of where she was taking him. Langston stepped out of the driver's seat as she eased onto the porch and closed the door behind her. She locked it and turned to see him approach with a silk garment in his hands. Fortunately, the nervousness in the pit of her stomach was stifled by the upsurge of her heartbeat. Langston was the most gorgeous man she'd ever laid eyes on. He wore black slacks, a white button-up shirt, and a tailored black blazer that hugged his broad-shouldered frame in all the right places.
"Hello, beautiful."
Langston greeted her with a grin, the curve in his mouth carrying his thick, black, beautiful brows up his face. "Hi. I wasn't sure what to wear, so I went for something business casual." The V-neck, form-fitting red dress enhanced her sexy figure. His gaze covered her in a full sweep, and she felt lifted by the way his eyes studied her curves.
"This dress is perfect. But do me a favor. In the future, never meet me on the porch. Wait for me to knock or ring the bell. If I was someone up to no good, you would be mine."
His gaze lingered on her thighs, smoldering steadily with the desire that Lisa could feel all the way down to her toes. He licked his lips as if he could taste her skin, and somehow, though she knew he was warning her about the danger of a potential mugger, his words and stare added full innuendo nonetheless. She watched, transfixed, as he unfurled the soft fabric in his hands and guided it over her eyes. She gasped as her world was plunged into darkness, her sense of touch immediately heightened as she felt Langston's warm breath on her neck.
"Ready?"
His voice was low and dangerous, sending a thrill of excitement coursing through her veins. "Yes," she replied breathlessly, biting down on her bottom lip. Without another word, Langston took her hand and led her to the car. The leather seats felt cool against her skin, and she felt the car shift into motion as he put the car in drive and drove away from the curb. The sound of R&B tunes filled the silence between them as they drove, and Lisa's mind raced with possibilities of where they could be going. She relaxed and closed her eyes, comfortable enough to fall asleep. But after what felt like an eternity, the car finally came to a stop. Lisa couldn't tell how far they had gone or where they were, but she was eager to find out. Langston helped her out of the car and led her along a path that felt like gravel under her feet. She heard the sound of water and the rustle of leaves like they were in a park. "Can I take this off now?" Lisa asked, impatient to see where they were.
"Not yet,"
Langston replied with a chuckle.
"We're almost there."
They continued walking until Lisa heard the sound of a door creaking open. Then she felt Langston's hand on her back, guiding her inside. As soon as she stepped into the room, she was hit with the smell of wood and paint.
"Okay, you can take it off now."
Langston removed the blindfold. Lisa's lips parted, and her eyes widened as she looked at the beautiful murals and art pieces in the room. She walked forward with a hand held out, drawn to the first piece in front of her. The painting was an abstract piece of a woman with bold strokes and vibrant colors. It was breathtaking, and Lisa couldn't look away. Langston watched her with a smile on his face, enjoying the way she marveled at the art.
"Do you like it?"
he asked. "It's amazing," Lisa breathed, not taking her eyes off the painting. "This whole place is amazing. What is this place?"
"It's an artist's workspace," Langston replied. "It used to be the bean factory, but the city converted this into a studio for artists to create and display their work. I thought you'd appreciate it."
"I do," Lisa said in awe. "I really do." They spent the next hour wandering around the space, taking in the different art pieces. Lisa felt inspired by the creativity and passion that filled the room.
"I want to share something with you."
Lisa nodded. "What is it?"
"I wanted to show you a side of me you didn't know existed,"
Langston answered, stepping closer to her.
"I'm an artist."
Lisa's eyes widened in surprise. "Really? I had no idea." Langston chuckled.
"I'm quiet about my personal life, but sharing this with you seemed right."
They stared at one another with smiles etched at the corners of their mouths. "I'm glad you shared this with me. Are any of these paintings yours?
Langston chuckled. All of them.
Her eyes broadened. Are you kidding me? She shrieked.
Deep laughter surrounded her when he smiled. I can assure you, I'm not.
Lisa looked at Langston with newfound admiration. She already thought highly of him, but seeing his passion for art, she felt even more drawn to him. Can you show me how you do it? She asked, gesturing toward the canvas.
His gorgeous smile caused chaos behind her heart's tempo. I'd be happy to,
Langston replied, handing her a brush. He ushered her to the front of the room, where windows larger than life boasted a beautiful view of the city skyline. Below, buildings as far as the eyes could see stretched across the boulevard, creating a show of glowing city lights. He worked in silence, Lisa looking on with fascination, as Langston added swirls of color to the canvas. It was like witnessing a magician at work, seeing something come to life under his skilled touch. He smirked and glanced at the awe in her eyes, then reached, wrapping an arm around her waist. Langston drew her in front of him and placed his brush in her hand.
Oh, no, I'm going to mess this up. You won't.
Covering her hand, he went in for the first stroke, and that made Lisa's mouth drop further. As they worked, Lisa couldn't stop her mind from wandering. The physical attraction they had felt for each other was now joined by a deeper connection. Langston was more than just the mysterious, handsome brother of the Clarks. He was intelligent, creative, and passionate. It didn't take long for her to realize the drawing they were creating was of the city in front of them, and that increased the thrill in her heart. This is absolutely amazing. My heart is beating so fast. Your talent is insane. Langston laughed, his smile wide and genuine.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it.
Minutes turned into an hour before Langston paused, dropped their hands, and stepped back, gesturing for Lisa to do the same. But for Lisa, her eyes were glued to the beautiful rendering of the city skyline and buildings below. Wait a minute. She checked her watch. There's no way you just did this so fast.
This is a rough draft. Very rough, he admitted. But it can be done.
Lisa's eyes widened in amazement. You mean this isn't a finished piece? It's already incredible as it is.
Langston's gaze twinkled. I've done better, but I have an idea of something that would be even more magnificent than this.
He studied her, and Lisa felt heat rise to her cheeks as she watched him step closer. His passion for art and the way he commanded his craft made her.
Would you like to see?
Langston asked, his voice low and smooth. Lisa nodded, unable to find her voice.
How much more of your time can I have tonight?
As much as you want. My night is yours. Heat stirred between them, and a dark sound moved through him, making her shiver. Langston took her hand and led her to a door at the back of the room. Inside was a small space with a large canvas and a couch. Langston gestured for her to sit on the couch as he stood in front of the canvas, taking a deep breath.
Relax, and wish me luck.
You hardly need luck, but there's nothing in this room to draw. Langston chuckled.
I'm drawing you, silly girl.
Her eyes widened. Oh, God.
Afraid?
Of your beautifully skilled hand putting my imperfections on display? Absolutely. Langston stepped closer, his face just inches away from hers.
You are perfection, Lisa. Don't ever forget that.
Her cheeks heated up, and Lisa was lost in his gaze. He was something special, and a part of her wanted to stay with him all night. Langston stepped away and picked up his brush, and with little effort, he swept it across the canvas, creating a masterpiece of color, emotion, and beauty. They both settled into silence, Lisa nervously watching the man in front of the canvas as he worked his magic. He painted in a way that was electrifying, his strokes and movements so free and easy that it was almost as if he was a part of the painting himself. An hour passed, then two, and Lisa felt her nerves and insecurity slowly fading. In their place was a sense of admiration and awe, as she knew Langston's mind-blowing artistry would come to life on the canvas. He angled his head, his gaze staring at her as his hand flicked and stroked, adding to the art. A smile cornered his mouth, and he dropped the brush to his side. Finished. Langston stepped aside and allowed Lisa to see the artwork. She rushed to him, and her mouth dropped in surprise as she saw a perfect portrait of herself. It was breathtaking. The emotions and details were all there. Tears began to form in her eyes as she saw a piece of her soul on the canvas. She turned to him. "Is this what you see when you look at me?" Langston's brows dipped. "It's not only what I see, it's you. Perfection." Lisa's eyes watered as she glanced between him and the painting. "I hope those are happy tears, mi amor." Laughter spilled from her, and he drew her close, wrapping her arms around her waist as they stared at the portrait together. "Will you hang it up here, or take it home with you?" Langston gently brushed away the tears that had spilled down her cheeks. "It's yours," he said. "Take it home and keep it with you always." "I would love that." He turned her and kissed her forehead, down the bridge of her nose, then her lips. His kiss was gentle, yet full of passion, and she felt herself responding to his tongue's succulent, deep pulls.
"Lisa."
"Yes, Langston?"
"We should leave."
"Are you sure? Why?"
"Because I might, and you owe me a surprise."
Sultry laughter filled the air as she tossed her head back. "And here I thought I'd almost gotten over on you." He laughed in return, and they pecked each other's mouths before Lisa twirled. "Okay, we'll go, but don't forget my painting." He chuckled.
"I got you."